Okay, we are recording and we are streaming and it we're still waiting. Okay, and we're loaded. Okay, so yeah, this is the second instance of CurleeFriee through the years. We're gonna go on to kindergarten now. Um as we just play through some Genshin. And pass the time. Again, no sound, just really just want to talk, have a recording, have this on the internet in case I ever lose the files. Um, but yeah, we went through pre-K, and now we're on to kindergarten. And honestly, kindergarten is where I believe my social life peaked because from kindergarten through sixth grade, I was pretty much within the same school system, school people. So the people I knew pretty much stayed the same for 7 years. And because I was so familiar with these people over this past 7 years, like I knew everyone because where I was living didn't really have the greatest school system, if I'm being honest. It kind of was bad. So what my mom chose to do was enroll me in a private school. When she enrolled me in the private school, she did like financial aid or whatever. Basically, I was whatchamacallit. I was just on financial aid, so I paid less to go to my private school. And I know back in the day, the cost of the private school, actually I don't even know what the full cost of the private school was back in the day, but I do know that like private schools now, they cost so much. It's actually kind of crazy how much a private school costs nowadays. Honestly, like I've heard stories about private schools in like Brentwood near LA costing like 40K a year, like more than college tuition to go to like a high school or even an elementary school. Like to me, that's insane. Um, but back in the day, I don't think it was as bad. And my mom had the financial aid too, so it was actually really great. Because honestly, I have no regrets. I loved my time in kindergarten. I loved my time in elementary school, and I'm so thankful for my mom taking me there. Um, Pretty much this private school had its own uniform, so I had to wear a uniform pretty much every day to school, and it was pretty much like a polo. Like there, you had different colored polos. It could be like white, red, navy, um, white, red, navy. What other polos did they have? I feel like those were the main ones. It was like red, white, and blue, pretty much. And then you had either navy or khaki shorts or slacks. Um, and that was the life you pretty much live. You had to wear that every day. And I didn't really have a problem with it. I was not really a fashionista, especially in kindergarten. You kind of just do whatever you want to do. Um, so that's what I remember. And I do remember the place where we bought our uniforms was like we had to cross the train track to go there. So I was always excited as a little kid, being like, "Oh, we're gonna go have to cross this train track in order to go to the shop to buy our thing," because you couldn't just buy them on campus for whatever reason. They had their own like store they worked out of, like a that serviced multiple private schools in the area. But nonetheless, the kindergarten itself was in a how do I say it? It was in like a residential neighborhood. Like it was pretty much just smacked in like this residential area of SoCal, and that's pretty much how it worked. It was just like a residential area, and I don't understand like how they were able to run it because we're loud kids, we go outside and play, so there must be something, some reason. But yeah, I remember it was a small little area that they ran school out of, and I recall there's like 3 classrooms because realistically, it's a private school. Our class size is small. I'm pretty sure our like class size was like 75, and this stayed consistent until 6th grade. Like it was a small, same group of people that we just knew for 7 years of our life. And I guess for some people that's like normal, you know, but to me, like, I guess I'll go into it later, but like I did 7 years here, or what do we call it? I did 1 year in pre-K, and then I did 7 years here, and then I did 2 years in junior high, and then I did 4 years in high school, and then I did 4 years in college. So this was like the longest period of my life where I knew and went to school with the exact same people. So that's why I think it has such an impact on me, because this was the longest I had known people. But regardless, the kindergarten was small. There was like 3 little classrooms. My teacher was called Dr. Molina, and she was a very, very nice lady, a white lady with like blonde hair. For some reason, I feel like she wore red a lot. I just have that impression when I imagine her. I imagine her wearing like red. So that's that. And we had a small class, like 20, 25 or so. And the things I recall were that they would have pizza as like a school lunch thing, and I got school lunch sometimes. Other times my mom would make me like a sandwich with fruit or stuff, but that was more high school. I don't really recall exactly what I had for lunch in kindergarten, but I do remember people were eating pizza, and people were eating pizza with ranch, and I was like, that is so weird and gross. Why are people eating pizza with ranch? But nowadays, the concept of eating ranch with anything sounds great. So I guess I was just out of the loop in their kindergarten years, because ranch on pizza, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like every single bite needs the ranch, but occasional bite with a little bit of ranch goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? But I remember that. And then what else about kindergarten? I remember we did like Valentine's Day. You would have to give your Valentines to every single one. There's no like, only to this person. But it wasn't like, typical like Valentine's Day, you giving chocolates to your one or significant other, or like someone you'd like or have a crush on. It was more like you gave like these little cards that you could buy at like the supermarket that were like in giant packs of 20, 30 or whatever, so you could hand them out to everyone, and you attach like a little piece of candy. So that's pretty much the concept of what Valentine's Day was. And then since our class was so small, and pretty much all the kids were pretty wealthy because it was a private school, every time someone had a birthday, their parents would bring food, like donuts, like Krispy Kreme dozen donuts, and everyone gets a donut. Like the birthday celebrations at this private school were no laughing matter. Like class got held up to celebrate someone's birthday with everyone, and I loved it because that's so much free food you get, free desserts that my mom would never buy me. So that was awesome. And I would do like Krispy Kreme donuts because it's not like expensive, I guess, to do 20 kids. You get like 3 dozen donuts or something. That's like $30. But other people would do like crazier things, But I do remember that. And then the playground was like outside. It was really tiny, but you had to play. And I think this is where I met, I would say, like my best friends of this time frame. It didn't last all through elementary school for reasons to discuss later, but I had 2 close friends. One was named David, and the other one was named Nicholas, and we were like the 3 musketeers. David lived a bit further away from the school, compared to me and Nicholas. Me and Nicholas were like super close. Like he was within 2-3 minute drive, so he was very close. And just overall, normally in like a school, people are always within like a certain distance of the school, you know, because it's like you have a district, you know, this district or this district, and everyone if you live in this city or this area, you go to this school. But with a private school, people are like all over, you know, people could be, you know, an hour away by car, especially during like rush hour, you know, on a weekday school day. So people came from all over to go to this school, and for good reason. It was a good school. I have no complaints or problems with the school. I loved it. But man, people had to spend so much extra time going back and forth from home. Like I can't imagine going to school and then having to spend like 2 hours of drive or a bus ride to go to school, to and from school. Like for me, it was like 10-minute max, you know? But yeah, me and my friends, Nicholas and David, we were like the Three Musketeers. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of hangouts, and I don't know, I really enjoyed my time with them. Did we do any like specific games together or stuff? You know, I don't remember anything in kindergarten about specifically what we did. There were some things we did in elementary school. It's a little bit skipping ahead, but you know, I don't want to forget this when I get to elementary school. But I remember we went together to go see Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith, and in the movie, Anakin's hand gets cut off, and my mom had took the three of us to go there, and then in that scene where his hand gets cut off, she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is violent. This is bad. I'm gonna cover my kid's face." So she covers my face, but just leaves the other two to just see it in all its glory. So pretty much, I remember that because me being a kid, I'm like, I want to see this. You know, this is cool. But my mom was like, no, cover the face. She had like a towel or something. She was like blocking my eyes. And the other two just got to see it completely without any issue. So yeah, so that's it. That was very fun. I remember that one very fondly. But yeah, me, Nicholas, and David, we were like Three Musketeers. I think we were all in the same class too, so that made it easier to get to know people, because in kindergarten through third grade, beyond like recess and PE, which is where everyone gathered, you pretty much stuck with the same group of people all the time. Like your class stayed the same. So the group of 20 I had in kindergarten was the same people I saw every day for most of the day, except for recess, when then I would get to see other people. So that was kindergarten. What else happened in kindergarten? Okay, so in kindergarten, I had my first crush. Kindergarten, I had a crush on this blonde girl named Bailey. And, you know, I thought it was cool because Bailey sounds like Bayleaf, the Pokemon. But whatever. So I like this girl named Bailey. And another guy liked this girl named Bailey, named Tanner. So we both like the same girl. But we're at an age where it's like, we're friends still. It's not like, you know, we're like mortal enemies because we like the same girl. We just like the same girl, but we're still friends. And then it comes to this point. I don't really remember why, but we did square dancing. We did square dancing, and obviously you pick a partner for square dancing. And guess who Bailey chose? That's right. Bailey chose me for her square dancing partner. And oh, I was so ecstatic. I get a square dance with the girl I have a crush on. Now that is something. So to me, that was like, I've won, you know, I'm her boy, you know, and she's my girl. But then the other thing was, she went to Hawaii one time and she brought back gifts, and I got a gift, and Tanner also got a gift. But you know, realistically, it's because the parent knows, and she doesn't want to like play favorites, and she knows that it would mean a lot to us. And I'm talking about it today, so it meant something. So we both got a gift, but deep down, I knew I won that one. And that was like my little kindergarten romance. Guess what? Didn't last. I don't think she went to first grade with us. She just did kindergarten, and then she left. Maybe her parents weren't very happy, because I think this was a lot of people's like first times with the school. So yeah, so she wasn't here for first grade, so it did not last. Didn't have a long romance throughout elementary school. But the love life always continues. Let's be real here. I was very much a boy who liked girls. But that was kindergarten. The square dancing was fun. I know kindergarten we did like our own little graduation ceremony. Like I dressed up in like this blue gown, like how you walk for college graduation in like whatever color of your school colors, or black or whatever. They had us in like blue gowns with like the hat with the tassel on it, like, and my mom recorded it, and I think it's great that she recorded. But it was so funny. It was honestly so funny to think back on how like they made this whole ceremony for us. This whole ceremony for us basically to graduate after 1 year. Because realistically, I understand for a sense, because for our teachers, the elementary school part of the campus is like not in the same location. So elementary school took place in someplace different. Like a different part. Like they're close, but they're not nearby. So these teachers, these kindergarten teachers that are watching these kids grow, like that are so influential on our growth, they're realistically not going to see us again. Because unless they're visiting the other campus, which is weird because they're working while we're working, or while we're in school, we're not going to see each other. So for them, I think it was important or something, or like the school thought it was a cool way to celebrate, these kids moving on. But we did do like our little graduation wearing our blue, our blue stuff, our blue gowns. And that was fun. And it was a good time. It was a good time. Kindergarten was fun, for sure. But I don't know, like, how do I put this? Like, it wasn't super memorable, I guess. It was like fun, because I think kindergarten was a lot of like you getting to know these people, and as you keep going on in years with these people, you get closer and you're just more familiar, because like realistically, like being honest, those people were like family by the end of the 6 years. Like we were crying eventually and the 6th grade, because like pretty much most people stuck around together for the 7 years. Most part. Some people did last, some people came in, but for the most part we stick together. And then we finally like went out on our own to junior high at the end of everything. So these people were like family, and this was like getting to know the family. That's pretty much it. So it was awesome. I enjoyed kindergarten. It was a great time to meet people that would last, like friendships that would last for so much longer. And that was great. What else happened in kindergarten? I know I started taking Chinese classes because my mom wanted me to learn Chinese. But I honestly don't remember what part of my life I did it. What else happened? I think kindergarten was also the time I did Sunday school. So Sunday school, you're a little kid, you're going to Sunday school. I think my mom I honestly, the religious aspect of my family, I literally have no idea. Like my mom is like believes in Jesus but doesn't go to church at all, and I haven't seen her really do anything like religious, but she believes in Jesus. And then my grandma, she was like Buddhist. Like we went to so many Buddhist temples over the course of my life, and ate so much Asian food. But then we also went to church. So I'm like so confused. And then like I feel like as like my grandfather passed away, she was like switching between stuff. Like my grandfather had like a Buddhist like type of ceremony, so I was like, I guess he's Buddhist, but I really don't know. Like I really don't know, to be honest. So that was weird. But I went to Sunday school. Um, I went to Sunday school. I did that every Sunday. And I learned stuff that, I've probably forgotten at this point because it didn't last. And I remember, singing at their Sunday school. Because we had to do like, songs about, rain comes down, Jesus comes down, something, cute kids recording, whatever. But I remember one time, I think it's on video, but I got tired during our performance, like when we were singing, and I just sat down in the middle of the stage. I just sat down and I was like, I'm tired. Like, well, what do you expect me to do? I'm tired. I'm just gonna take a break. This is how life works, right? And that's on video, and that's a fun video to eventually look back on. I really should like rip the CDs those videos are on and upload it somewhere, because I'm just worried that eventually I won't have access to it. But yeah, I remember doing that. And then the thing was, my mom got an annual pass to Disneyland because we lived so nearby. The church was nearby. So every single day, every single Sunday after Sunday school, we went to Disneyland. Literally every weekend I went to Disneyland. And that's when, you come to the realization of Disneyland's great and all, but when you go every single weekend, you get tired of it. And you don't want to go at some point. But my mom was like, I paid for this. I paid for the ability to go every single weekend. We are going every single weekend. So that was like the year of my life of Disneyland, where I went to Disneyland every single day. And to describe our trips to Disneyland in that time is that we didn't get any food at Disneyland. We just packed our food. We went to Disneyland afterwards, after Sunday school, and we lived our life. And that's what Disneyland is. And so we went to Disneyland every single day. And we did Disneyland every single day. I keep saying every single day. I am a little distracted, but it's fine. We went to it every Sunday, and I loved it. Looking back on it, I'm glad I did it, because it makes me realize, like, there's so many people that miss Disneyland, or like want to go to Disneyland, but they can't. And I got to go there literally every week. So it was a good time. I'm very thankful about getting to go to Disneyland. And it was nice. And I do remember, so my mom and my aunt worked at Disneyland before. And in the past, I feel like Disneyland has so much more procedures about letting people in. But in the past, it was like you're at the monorail and you don't have to like scan or check anything. You literally can just, if you know the person working there, they can let you in. I don't think this happens anymore. I assume their security is more strict or whatever. But we went to Disneyland free before or after this annual pass. There's no reason to do it when you have an annual pass. But there were times when we could just go in because we knew the person who was working the gate, and they would just let us in, and it was like no big deal. Disneyland makes so much money anyway. What's wrong with letting in a kid and his mom? So yeah, we we went to Disneyland a lot. I got tired of it. Am I still tired of it? Not really. I'm looking forward to going to Disneyland at some point later. While I am California driver's license or whatever. And especially if they have the SoCal Pass or whatever. That's another thing. But yeah, I'm not tired of Disneyland like completely. I think it was just in those moment in that year, going every week was a little too much. Especially as a kid, you don't have a much big attention span. It's like I've seen these things already so many times. As an adult, it's like, oh yes, Disneyland, freedom, my childhood, I can embrace it once again. But as a kid, it's like, yeah, I've done this, so I'm kind of done. Yeah, that was kindergarten. I'm trying to think, because obviously kindergarten. Do I do any instruments in kindergarten? I guess the thing I need to look up is, when did Pokemon Sapphire come out? Because 2002. So in 2002, I was 5. No, I was 4, right? I was 4 at 2002. So that means, realistically, at 5, at kindergarten age, it might have been when I started playing Pokemon Sapphire, right? Maybe it was. Because I loved Pokemon Sapphire. And I love Blaziken. Because I picked Torchic. And I played on my Game Boy Advance so much. I went to piano lessons, which was like a group piano lesson. And I remember playing Pokemon during the group piano lesson. Like, I would open my bag and my Game Boy would be there, and I would be playing on my Game Boy while looking into the bag. And I thought, oh, I'm so sneaky. No one's gonna know I'm playing Pokemon here. But I think obviously the lack of actually playing the piano was a good indication of the fact that maybe he's doing something else. But I was so dedicated to Pokemon. I was so dedicated to Pokemon that I just played it so much. I literally put in hundreds of hours, because in Pokemon Sapphire, you need to go through like Team Aqua's hideout, and there's like these boulder puzzles. And I had no idea what I was doing. I literally did not know. I literally did not know how to do the boulder puzzles. So not knowing the fact that the story is tied to getting past these puzzles, all I did was I went back to like, oh gosh, I have to look up the city name. Watson was the gym leader of what city? Mauville City. I remember pretty much living in Mauville City for like months. And all I would do every day is go up, battle the reporter lady and her like cameraman again and again. And it took me so long to realize I need to go to this place to keep going in the story and get my last badges and, beat the Elite Four, that by the time I actually went back, my Blaziken was already level 100, And obviously I don't know how to build Blaziken. I'm pretty sure I use Slash on Blaziken like all the time, because I use Slash on Blaziken, so I was like, oh, it's a normal attack. It has 70 base power. It's awesome. It does so much damage, And obviously, everything's going to do so much damage when you're level 100 against, people that are, like, way lower level. But, yeah. That was me playing Pokemon Sapphire with piano lessons that literally I wasn't focused. I wasn't paying attention. It was a group piano lesson, and I spent it playing Pokemon in the bag. And then on the way back, I would play Pokemon in the backseat of the car. But the thing was, I was doing Pokemon. Um, I was doing Pokemon in the backseat of the car on a Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Advance doesn't have those bright screens, and it was nighttime, so I feel like my vision started going bad. I mean, there's a history of bad vision in my mom's side of the family, but I feel like me trying to squint and look at that Pokemon screen at nighttime, like like once a week, because the piano lessons were once a week, was a pretty big contributing factor to the fact of I literally cannot see. Like my vision got so bad, and I was just squinting so hard to try and see my Pokemon screen and play Pokemon. But nonetheless, I love Pokemon Sapphire. It is still my favorite Pokemon game, and when the remake came out, I was so happy. I had to buy it, even though I had skipped other Pokemon games because it was my childhood. It really was my childhood. So, um, yeah, that was that. Um, and I played Pokemon a ton. I remember playing it so much that I think it was like at two. There was like a rumor, I guess, a rumor or just like some made up BS that if you hit 200 hours and you went to Moss Deep City, the rocket would launch and Jirachi would come down to you. That was not true. I remember leaving my game. I remember leaving my game on at night to try and hit that 200 hours. Because I wanted Jirachi. Pokemon, it had its own friggin' movie, which I owned on DVD. So I wanted it. But guess what? It didn't come. No Jirachi for me. It happens. It happens. But yeah, that was my time with Pokemon. I loved Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon in Sapphire was Blaziken. And then my next favorite Pokemon in Sapphire was Pelipper. Because Pelipper could learn fly and surf. So I love Pelipper. And me being a kid, I don't know that it it doesn't do well against electric attacks. That's for sure. So that is the truth about it. I didn't know it didn't do well against electric attacks because I don't know the type chart. I'm just like a little kid, I just play Pokemon. I use Slash on everything. That's just how it is. So that was my time with Pokemon. What else happened in kindergarten? I talked about my school. I talked about my annual pass at Disneyland. What else have I talked about? What else could I talk about realistically? Kindergarten, I did my Sunday school, I did that. Chinese school. I don't I don't think I started Chinese school in kindergarten. I think that's a little too young in my opinion for when I started. But I do think that we had something else that was viable to mention. But I am dying right now, so let's just keep that in mind. Um, okay, that was a long silence of me thinking, but also trying to actually play this game. Um, what else can I recall about my time in kindergarten? So in kindergarten, when it comes to going to school, it was mainly my grandparents who took me, because obviously my mom had like an hour commute to work every day, so she had to leave really early to try and avoid that commute. So my grandparents were the ones that took me to school, mainly my grandpa, because I mentioned before he wasn't exactly working. Um, so yeah, that's what happened there. The school I already said it was. So it was whatchamacallit. It was in a residential area. I don't know what else I can really talk about. Um, what else can I mention about kindergarten? Honestly, it leaves me. Sports wise, did I do any sports in kindergarten? I don't think so. I think my mom thought it was too early for me to start sports in kindergarten, and that's the truth of the matter. I did do a lot of sports eventually, and I think the first one I did was hockey. Hockey in quotation marks. It was basically just like ice skating. I don't really remember. I remember just skating more than. I remember skating more than anything else. I remember skating more than holding the stick. if that's the truth. But yeah, in terms of kindergarten, I feel like that's it. There's like those moments. Trip wise, I guess I can talk about trips. I unsure if it actually took place during kindergarten, but I remember. So my grandmother worked at Marriott. I did mention this about the rates. How they had good rates at that time for friends and family. Um, and the thing I remember is that we went to Palm Springs because Palm Springs had a JW. So to put it in perspective, you have your basic hotels that, I really can't tell the difference. There's like Courtyard, Residence Inn, like Springvale Suites or something. That's more of a newer one. But there's JW. And JW is like top of the top. JW is like, we are the best of the best Marriott. And we could stay in Palm Springs for so cheap. And their JW resort was honestly insane. Their JW Marriott had a literal boat, like a boat that would drive you around the lake of this place. It would drive around the lake of this place, and you could just relax. You could really feel like those rich people in those movies where they have their own boat driver and they just drive around on their boat. You could feel like that, like honestly. And that's what we did, and I loved it. The place also had like a little mini golf area, where you could do mini golf as a kid, and there's videos of me doing mini golf there. And they had their own, pools. I guess that's pretty typical, but they had their own pools, which, I like. I like pools. I like swimming. I like swimming at the pools. What else did they have? They had pools, the swimming. I remember this wasn't exactly like kindergarten, as many things are, but I remember the game that I would play in the pool was we had like these little Pikachu figures that are like completely plastic or whatever. But we would whatchamacallit? We would just throw them and swim after them. It sounds so basic and simple, but I loved it because it was so fun to like search for it and get it eventually, you know. And that's the game we would play as a kid, which was pretty much, find the Pikachu, get to the Pikachu, and that's what we would play. But yeah, the JW Resort in Palm Springs is honestly so cool. I don't know how much a night it goes for, but my family was very cheap. So the rate we got must have been really good. I think what I will do after this quick thing is just check how much does it cost to stay at the JW Marriott, because it's It's nice. I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite JW or just Marriott hotels in general because I have so many memories there as a kid. Like I went there probably like once every 2 years, once a year almost, because it was so nice. So um yeah, so that's that. Let's okay, we got this. We are by this warm thing. Okay, so JW Marriott in Palm Springs, the JW Marriott Desert Springs. It goes for $612 a night. And there's one that says it's 373, but it's averaging like $600 a night. That's crazy. There is no way I would stay there nowadays. That's so expensive for a place. So the fact that we got to enjoy it so many times when I was a kid is so nice. And I'm so thankful for that. So yeah, that was a trip I remember. It's hot out there, so you get the pool, and I'm pretty sure we got to stay at like their timeshare places at least one time where they had like a full kitchen in it. So that's awesome. That's literally so awesome. We have a roll. So that was awesome. So yeah, that was my kindergarten experience. I would say, and that's there's not much to say about kindergarten. Once we move on to elementary school, we'll have more to talk more to talk about, and we slowly get more and more information. I feel like this one went longer because I started to mix like elementary school stuff in kindergarten because realistically it all kind of blurs together, if I'm not gonna lie. But that was a rundown of kindergarten, and this again is all from memory. I haven't looked at any videos or photos to remind myself. I haven't talked to my mom about this before and to see what she remembers. But yeah, that's kindergarten. That's CurleeFriee through the years, kindergarten days, and it is also Christmas. It is Christmas 2021, and I am just here on my own in Texas. Quite sad, but I'm fine. I think it's nice to be able to note this down and have some independence, freedom to choose what I do. So yeah, I think that's it. Let's wrap this up because I'm kind of rambling at this point. So thank you everybody who watched or will watch in the future, and I hope that you enjoyed this, found some stories interesting, or whatever else it may be. So I hope you have a nice night, a nice day, what else it may be, a nice Christmas, and you get to enjoy it with your family, you get lots of presents, and have a good time. So thank you everybody. It's been a good one. Bye now.